and welcome back to the channel, Health No Filter. My name is Tristan Lowe, personal trainer and sports massage therapist. Here we are, third week in August 2025, and I think it's episode 102, and my guest today is Dan Jones. How you doing, Dan?
Good, thank you.
All right, thanks for coming in, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right, so just a quick fun fact. I met Dan about 3 weeks ago at a business meetup in Lincoln City, UK.
Yeah.
And Dan was introducing himself to some people at the business club, and my ears kind of pricked up, and it turns out you're a nutritionist.
Yes.
Of sorts. All right.
Yes.
All right, Dan, talk me through it then. You're a nutritionist. Where did it start?
Well, I mean, for me, I've always been interested in sort of fitness and nutrition, improving myself.
Yeah.
I went to do a undergraduate degree in forensic science, funnily enough.
Yeah.
And just ended up with
Forensic science?
Yeah.
What, as in like CSI Miami or something?
Yeah. Completely different.
So was you like cadavers and whatnot around you, or bodies, or?
No, not as much as that. I mean, we had the opportunity to see those sorts of things,
Yeah.
but it was kind of a time where, you know, there's recession, that sort of thing. And
Yeah.
it felt like there's a lot less opportunity for stuff for that field, which
Yeah.
is kind of why I didn't go down that route,
Gotcha,
to be honest. They did as much as they could,
Yeah.
but my interest started developing in nutrition from that, because I actually ended up with a lecturer
Yeah.
who is, I believe he was like the head of the nutrition at the university.
Okay. Which one? Which university?
Lincoln.
Oh, Lincoln. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So his passion just kind of came through in all the lessons that he taught us, even though it wasn't related to nutrition.
Yeah.
Just like drop things here and there. I'm like, actually, that sounds better than what we're learning here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And it kind of tied in with what my sort of own interest in nutrition was already.
Yeah.
Which I guess many sort of psychological things could be gone into that with, you know, body image when you're in your teens. And
How old was you as an undergraduate?
I started at, I think I was 19.
Okay.
So a gap year, but
yeah. So you're kind of possibly getting into that age where when you're 19-year-old man, you start thinking about how you perform and how you look.
Yes.
Whichever one comes first, you know, so it can fluctuate, can't it? You know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Conflicting as well. I can't
Yeah. Okay. So you started to get a good idea about nutrition for yourself, for fitness and training and whatnot, and just general health. Okay.
Exactly.
All right then. All right. So next stage after that. Then.
Well, after then, again, like I said, it was a kind of time where you kind of have to go get a job as soon as you finish uni, get yourself started. Yeah. And I didn't find a job in forensics, funnily enough.
Yeah.
So just went into call centre jobs, things like that, and it was then I was like, right, what can I do? What am I interested in? I wasn't as interested in forensics as I thought it was when I first applied. You know, when you're a child at school, thinking what you want to do.
Yeah.
So, you know, I started thinking about things, and I was like, actually, I've been interested in this other thing, this one thing that I've been researching myself online, and with, I guess, the whole world of the internet, of misinformation, everything like, how am I going to know what's correct? And when I learn that information, do I want to be sharing that? So, I then went to look down the route of online courses for nutrition, dietetics, all those sorts of things, but you're kind of limited with what you can access.
Did I just say it's limited? If it's online, how could you be limited?
Well, so when I say limited, I mean limited with what you feel comfortable with being the correct information.
Oh, I see.
The
Okay.
right standard.
Or the source of the information, who funds it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of research.
Yeah.
I could not get onto a 1-year course or postgraduate course in dietetics because I didn't have enough of a background from my first degree.
Yeah, because can you do a master's in research in that specific subject?
You can, which is what I ended up doing.
Yeah, okay, yep.
So I ended up doing a master's in medical science at the University of Sheffield.
What's it like there?
Amazing.
I know Sheffield City quite well.
Yeah.
And I know the university campus is quite large as well. Great sporting facilities in Sheffield.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of mix with Sheffield Hallam for some like more sports, nutrition modules, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And they've got a great facility as well.
They have, yeah.
And part of my course cohort, some was split between that doing some more sports nutrition research projects. Some of us were more lab based. I ended up with a medical sort of based one.
Right.
And
excellent.
All my researchers came to this course, or this particular type of course that was it was, what do you call it, accredited by the Association for Nutrition,
right,
which kind of was the next level of something that kind of gave me, not very good words here, but
it's okay.
The
if you've got
just the credibility for the course.
Yeah, it's recognised as
it's recognised.
It's good.
It's, I'd say, the next step down from being a dietitian.
Okay.
And they're actually working towards making the term nutritionist a sort of a chartered sort of
interesting
sort of field, rather than it just being
general.
Go online and get yourself a nutrition degree for after a week's worth of work or something. So having that sort of chartered position,
I think it should be as well, Dan. You know, I studied nutrition as a module when I studied anatomy and physiology to become a personal trainer.
Yeah.
And I thought it was quite complicated then, but now 15, 16, 17 years later, what we learned was only a grain of sand.
Yeah.
You know, and of course you learn more when you work in the industry.
Yes.
Whether you work in nutrition at commercial premises or whether it be for an individual, for yourself. The learning is barely done when you're studying. Yeah, you learn what you didn't know the previous week. But I've always thought that, you know, especially something like nutrition, what's right for someone isn't right for someone else. And in the advent of the last 15, 17 years with information now, and a lot of information is funded by insert whatever company, there's so much ambiguity around, it can almost drive like the mere mortals, you know, wild with, anticipation about what's going to be right, what's going to be wrong. Okay, so they're going to thinking about making nutrition in that way, or like a diet. What's the difference between a nutritionist and a dietetics?
So a dietitian is someone that is, they have to have I always forget the letters in this because is it HP, whatever it is.
They've got to be
like a
healthcare practitioner.
Yeah. So they've got to have continuous like training. They've got to each year they've got to
do modules,
things
update
like
themselves
that.
on information.
Exactly. Whereas nutritionists, anyone can go online and sort of get that term, nutritionist, nutrition therapist, that sort of thing.
Yeah. And there's a place for that. In our industry as a trainer, there's a place for we give out nutritional advice. It's not right, John, you must eat this to perform like that. This is what's worked for us, this is what worked. But also, I found that a lot of clients come in and they've already done a lot of homework before they come through the door because the advent of the internet and YouTube, like a lot of things. All right, okay. So, you finished at Sheffield. What year was that?
That was 2017. And with it being a master's course, it was September through till the end of August. Yeah. So end of August 2017, I was like, right, now what do I do? Yeah.
Did you have a break after that?
No. Well, not from working. I was actually working throughout that time as well.
Yeah, gotcha.
Keep things moving.
Yeah.
But living in Sheffield, I thought I'm not near family or anything like that, so I'm going to head down south to where my family are.
Yeah, where are you from? I'm from down south myself.
I'm from Bournemouth.
Oh, that's real south. I'm from London. Because I always shout people up here. London is, yes, it's south of Nottingham, but it's not the south.
No.
Whereas that's the real south, isn't it? Or what? Yeah. So you're actually a southerner.
I am.
Whereas I'm a Londoner. Good going. We move up to Lincoln and take over. All right. Okay. So people are actually from Bournemouth.
Yeah. Well,
I thought people just go there for weekends.
No, I grew up there. Weirdly, I was actually born in Lincoln.
Okay.
My dad was in the RAF, so
then you moved
around a lot, and then. When I was very young.
Top of the case. Okay. Because I just thought Bournemouth was where people with blue and pink hair go for weekends, but people do actually come from Bournemouth.
Yeah.
They got a football team now as well, don't they?
Yeah.
Premier League team.
They've gone up.
Yeah. Superb.
Yeah.
So here you are. Okay, so we're now looking at 2017. Now that's like a 7-8 year gap between now and then. Okay, so you've got into gainful employment.
Yes. Yeah.
Talk me through it.
I moved down to Reading thinking that'd be the place for work and getting money there. My dad lives close to there as well, so that kind of helped have a bit of a base. Yeah. And again, just struggled with trying to find my into an industry. Yeah. Find somewhere that would pay me for the knowledge that I just gained, that sort of thing. Yeah. I wasn't in a position to be able to make my own business at that point. Don't have the money behind it, and I needed a job. Yeah. So I ended up coming back up to Lincoln, where my partner at the time, his family live up here. We
Yeah.
thought, let's come back up here, and so I ended up with a job at a food manufacturer
Yeah.
that was looking for a nutritionist.
Yeah.
So I thought, perfect. Managed to get that job, and that's where I've been working for the past 6 years.
Gotcha. And it's 6 years is a long time. Well, I think it's a long time for someone to stay not just in an industry, but an industry and then a particular company or a particular field within it. It's a long time to hold your breath. I mean, I've been in my line of work 17 years in total now. It's gone really quick, you know. But I think if you put 6 years into your profession, paid profession, because I've got the thing, you're a professional when someone pays you for your skill, service, information, knowledge or time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Up until that, it's a qualification and or pastime.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of people that would know more about nutrition than me, but no one's paying them for their information. So I always say, right, John, right, Jill, you've got a great understanding of the fundamentals of nutrition, and you've got a website, you've got an advert, you're applying, but when someone pays you, it could be a penny, a dollar, a pound, at that day onwards, it's now a profession.
Yeah.
What's the difference then between your interest you had in nutrition to then becoming a paid professional in it?
What do you mean in terms of?
Well, for me, if I don't train people, I don't eat.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's, I can get a job in anything that's, you know, admin or things that I've done before,
Yeah.
customer service, that sort of thing. But
Yeah.
for me, getting a job within nutrition was me trying to not just put what I'd learned to good use, but to actually to kind of progress in that field.
Mm-hmm.
You only like, I think you've already said it, like you keep learning as you're going, and
Yeah.
you're getting more experience within the field as you're actually being paid to do it, or
Yeah.
where you're actually utilising it every day.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, getting this job in food manufacturing business was
Yeah.
a big step for me.
Food manufacturing business. Okay, so talk me through it without naming the company. Where's it based?
We're based in Newark.
Newark.
Yeah, but it's a very big company.
Gotcha.
And
Like an international firm? Or?
yeah, we've got in America, and did have in China as well.
Interesting. When you mention America, I've got viewers on this channel, subscribers and viewers that are in America. So that's not Newark, New Jersey.
No.
This is Newark, Nottinghamshire in the UK.
I haven't travelled in from there.
Yeah, because Newark, New
Yes,
Jersey
yeah.
is where The Sopranos was based. I used to watch it. You ever see The
Right.
Sopranos?
No, I haven't actually.
I'm showing my age compared to yours now. But Sopranos, people that know, was a world famous gangster show, and it was set in Newark, New Jersey, not
Yeah.
Newark, Nottinghamshire,
No.
where you're based. Yeah,
Lots of
I've been to Newark
Yeah.
in Nottinghamshire. It's on the main line from London to Leeds, isn't it? So
Yes, yeah,
you get a lot of people that have got property in Newark but
Yeah.
work in London, or at
Yeah.
least down south.
yeah, exactly.
All right. Okay. So, all right. You're going into food manufacturing.
Yes.
Is that in a factory basis, or what? Would I go into the premises and it's essentially a big factory of conveyor belts?
Yeah, so I obviously work in the office
Mm.
for that. So part of my role is I look at the nutrition that goes onto the back of packaging,
Right.
things like that. But yeah, within that same building, there is lines and lines of like food manufacturing
Yeah.
going on, so different products being made on different lines, that sort of
Gotcha.
thing.
So a tin of a tin produce. Yeah.
Fresh produce is that, yeah.
Fresh.
Yeah, so
Right.
I mean, the more I talk about it, the more it's probably known to people, but it's fresh cream cakes.
Okay.
So,
Cream cakes.
Yeah.
Okay. Not bananas and oranges.
No.
Then. I'm thinking we can't manufacture those here. I see. A fresh cream cake then, so it goes out on the back of those refrigerated lorries
Yeah.
or trucks.
Yeah.
Interesting. When I studied to be a sports massage therapist, there was a gentleman in my class back in 07. No, I want to say 07, perhaps 08.
Yeah.
And when I studied in Nottingham, and his dad, his claim to fame was his dad had manufactured, designed, patented, manufactured an item, a refrigeration module that sits in the back of those big articulated lorries
Oh, right.
for moving fresh product
Yeah.
around, and
Wow.
it made his dad a fortune.
Well, yeah.
And he sold the business, he sold the actual item, and it went en masse around like Tesco's, Waitrose, and it made his dad, and therefore the children, one of which was in my class, rich for life.
Yeah.
And there was this lad sat next to me, he'd have been 36, 37 at the time, and I said to him, why do you need to study? Your dad's a multi-millionaire. He used to turn up outside the classroom. The guy was about the same age as me at the time, in an Aston Martin, and he said, well, I want something to do.
Yeah.
But it was those refrigeration trucks,
Right.
with the module that went inside it to keep stuff cool. his dad had invented it.
Wow.
Small world, eh? You
Yeah,
know?
I mean they get obviously loads of them because everything we make is needs to keep them chilled. So.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. So you do that. So you go in, you work in the office in like an administrative. So how do you actually test to see if the nutrition that's on the label is factual based on what nutrition is in a cream cake apart from sugar?
Yeah, I mean that's obviously a big thing that I'd say I'd have good insight of because people need to be able to trust what they're seeing on the packaging.
Yeah.
They pick something up, if they're looking at fat or sugar or whatever they're trying to keep control of in their diet.
Yeah.
So it is the responsibility of whoever's making these products that we eat to test them regularly.
Yeah.
And they send them to an accredited lab where they do all sorts of tests on for each of the individual things like protein and all sorts of calculations and stuff to make sure that what you're getting in your packaged sandwich or your ready meal or whatever it is what it says on the back there.
To the nearest gram or to the nearest percentage or RDA, recommended daily allowance then?
Yeah, so it's all per 100 grams. Everything is
like a tin of tuna.
Yeah.
I mean, I had one today. I think, okay, 25 grams of tuna drained per 100 grams. Okay, let's just say they're wrong by, they're wrong by a gram or two. It doesn't matter. Yeah. I think though, when you buy things like Greek yogurts and whatever, when it says the sugar content at the back, it could say low fat, but it doesn't say high sugar on the front until you always read the label.
Yeah.
How accurate are they to the nearest gram or percentage?
So it depends on the actual figure itself. So something that's quite low, usually it's always fibre is quite low in products, which is probably quite a bit of a problem with some of the things that we eat. But because it's below a certain amount, there is it's 2 grams plus or minus.
Okay.
What they say on there is what it should be within.
Yeah, and that's within government guidelines. That may still make if they're 2 grams out.
Yeah, 2 grams out, then that's when it has to be investigated, and whoever's making that should be looking into why things have changed.
Yeah.
When it's a higher figure, so let's say 20 grams of sugar is in whatever you're eating, there is a 20% tolerance either side.
20%?
Yeah.
Because it's a bigger figure, or is it because it's sugar, or it's the bigger figure?
No, it's because it's a bigger figure.
That leaves a lot of room for error, not error, we'll call it error. Because where there's people, let alone machinery and software and hardware, where people are involved, there is always room for error in everything.
Yeah.
So what if someone's packing a box full of what it could be a box of cornflakes or some kind of cereal or cream cakes, and they're manufacturing putting into those little plastic trays they come in?
Yeah.
How do we know that each one weighs exactly the same? Is it the software and the tooling and the hardware that tells us that cream cake weighs 350 grams?
Yeah, so they have weighers right at the end.
Like really sensitive equipment.
Yeah, so everything will be calculated to make sure that the customer is not getting shortchanged basically in what they're buying. And I mean, at our place, a lot of stuff is very automated and pretty accurate, to be honest. We're looking at plus or minus a few grams on some things that are being put in, but with like multiple components, obviously this is where you get more variation because there's more components, and there's other things that sort of get involved that cause that variation, which is why it is about 20% for things like that.
Gotcha.
So you've got seasonal variability, you've got obviously those weight tolerances I've just told you about.
Yeah.
You've got errors at the lab, like the lab assistants can make errors, the equipment can make errors, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So 20% seems massive.
It does.
Then we add all these things together that can sort of come to that.
Yeah.
But what we do is we don't just send off one product and then that's it. We know that's what's going on the back of the pack. We'll send off multiple products, put it through some testing. I do nutrition calculations as well to make sure that what we're getting back from the lab is what we're expecting.
How do they sorry to interrupt you, Dan, how do they take, because it's a cream cake, we'll say a cake here, how do they take that and actually siphon or withdraw and nutritional information from something that's it's not a piece of meat, or it's not dairy, or how do you do that? Is it with equipment or?
Yeah, so what I feel bad for the labs that I send it to, because we send some pretty big products sometimes, but they will put everything I send and blend it all down so it's all homogenized into one
Gotcha.
liquid mass.
Liquid, yeah.
So that, you know, everything is one thing. It's not that you're gonna, I don't know, something that's got a bit of chocolate on top is gonna be on one piece that they're testing.
Okay.
They blend it all together and then they will portion that off for the different tests. So for sodium or salt, for example, that gets put onto like this thing which then gets burnt off and then something reads what's in that.
Gotcha, yeah.
And then for fat, they've something similar. The machine they use is very similar. They put like a few drops of this thing on some paper, put it in,
Gotcha.
and something tests that.
Yeah.
I don't get involved in all of that.
Yeah, okay.
Our company does have its own lab and I've gone to see what they do.
Yeah.
And it's just equipment everywhere,
Yeah.
and very clever people with some great
Right,
equipment that
interesting.
does all that. So.
Yeah. So there's almost there's possibly an overlap between forensic science and looking at cakes and studying. I don't mean that in a light way. I mean that generally probably is, because you're doing research. There's multiple research with time-based evidence as well. Because I look at labels on the back of food, and I normally look for those 3 macronutrients. You know, protein, fats, and carbohydrates. But let's say sugars as well, of a carbohydrate form. I don't really look at it on the back of vegetables, because I always think, well, as long as I eat a mix of vegetables, I don't really study the carrot, how much is in one carrot. But generally, if it's something like some dairy products, meats, anything where I'm looking for my fats, proteins, carbohydrates, and vitamins, which I think for mere mortals is a thing that we look at apart from the recommended daily allowance of sugar content in things. Yeah. Do you think that at some point, I mean, was it the 1950s or 60s, or correct me if I'm wrong, where the American food industry changed forever, and they therefore subsequently changed a big chunk of the Western world with the introduction of corn syrup? What decade was it? Was it the 60s or 70s?
I can't remember, to be honest.
I know it wasn't like post. It wasn't like pre-World War. It was definitely in the last sort of 40 years, maybe. I'd have to look at it.
Yeah, it was a big shift in how everything's made, and just the sheer volume of high calorie dense foods, I guess. And I mean, even since then we keep going into more of that, don't we, with new flavours and things, making things more easier to eat, that sort of thing.
Palatable, easy to eat. Easier, because you know the classic example, once a year, maybe twice a year, I buy a bag of crisps or something. And the obvious one is something like it rhymes with Doritos, right? And you open the bag and the smell floods in. I know it's bad for me. I know that food is bad for me. I call it food. That energy of some description. Maybe once a year, so maybe twice a year, certainly once, and I enjoy it, but I don't want to see it again for 6 months. You know, but you finish them quickly because how they make the flavour and the taste and the smell, and even apparently, even how the sound of the crunch of crisps and things like that, it all goes into. Crikey! I mean, I imagine the research and practice, it cost a fortune to do as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's a different level of food manufacturing with that sort of thing, because what you just said, everything they put into making that to the point where people want to keep eating more. A lot of science goes into making sure that flavour is something that people are going to keep grabbing. Where I work, it is more fresh foods that they're still not the sort of the best for you in terms of health, but it's fresh foods that our main thing is trying to make sure that it is able to stay on shelves for longer, and quality is still good enough for people, because you know it's convenience food basically. So it's crazy how there's probably so much money that goes into making all that. Because the back end of people from just flavour. Getting it right at the back end is worth hundreds of millions, if not billions, over the next 10, 20 years. And I understand it. I've always said I'm fine with some form of capitalism as long as it does no harm. But food industry does do harm. Again, I'm okay with people making a profit from something that they've worked hard at, as long as it does no harm. Now what is harm? Okay, harm could be, you sell a pair of sports shoes that wear out too quickly, and so you get runners with bad knees and bad hips because the shoes are poor, but they're not deliberately designed to cause you bad knees and hips. Whereas highly processed food that's not actually come from an animal, a tree, or the ground, is not designed to make us healthy, is it? No, and I think that's something that is getting more and more talked about at the minute. they may not have known how many years ago that it was actually causing as much harm as it is now, but we do know more now.
Yeah, we do.
And you know, more could be done to make healthy foods maybe more palatable without introducing all these different additives and things like that that aren't going to make us, you know, not at our peak where we want to be.
Yeah. Yourself then? Okay, so you're into fitness yourself, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so you train. What's your exercise?
So I used to be the typical person that had no knowledge of sort of training or anything like that. So I'd go to the gym and do one muscle group per day.
Yeah.
And
3 sets of 10.
Yeah, and I'd go 5-6 times a week.
Yeah, crikey, yes.
You know, I'd struggle with it. I'd be like, I have no energy. I'd be like, I'd miss one day. I'm like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow now. Or I get to the gym and it's super busy and I can't get on what I want. So I'm like, what do I
Normally
do?
Mondays and Tuesdays between 5 and 7.
Yeah.
The witching hour.
Exactly.
After work, yeah.
So I actually injured my back a few years ago, and that sort of pushed me into going, let's get a PT. You injured your back because you don't know what you're doing.
How did you injure it? Do you know what it was that did it?
Yeah, so I basically was doing hip thrusts at the gym, and I didn't actually think that it was that particular moment that caused the injury.
Yeah.
But it was years after when someone told me how to do it properly. I was like, well, actually, that was the last exercise I did before when I got out of bed that I popped my back, and that was it. So
when you say I'm hip thrust down, do you mean those? I kind of for those people that know me personally on my channel, is that one of those machines where you lie on the floor and it's got the band and you basically just you take your hips into extension and flexion?
Yes, but I did it with a barbell.
The barbell across you, because they do. That's the old school way. But I've seen these things, and you get them in a lot of, I wouldn't say women's gyms because I don't go in women's gyms, but these mixed gyms, and it's always in the corner somewhere, and it's a platform with like the strap that goes over, like a lifting strap of some description, and you see people loading plates, sometimes like 420 plates either side. That thing, that's a popular machine now for these women that want the that aesthetically pleasing glutes. I think it's called a B, not a B. I know what it is. Okay, so so you possibly injured yourself at lumbar spine or mid thoracic, or usually lumbar or sacral area.
Yeah, so I've got 3 discs that have sort of herniated.
Right.
So from that, I was not able to walk for weeks.
Yeah.
Well, I was actually out of work for a couple of months.
Yeah.
So which is why I went to look for a PT basically.
Yeah. Did the right thing.
And then combination of that and physio, and then I joined another gym in town which is PT led, and every session you have a PT there.
Yeah.
And
it's good.
Each session was pretty much structured in a full body sort of way.
Okay. Yeah.
So 3
push,
times
pull,
a week.
rotate, and
So 3 sessions a week and some cardio in between, and that's kind of what I've now stuck to since then.
How's your back now?
Every now and then, like things happen,
Yeah.
but I've been pretty good. This year I did kind of injure it again, but I wasn't out half as long this time, and it was just me being a bit silly with
well, you're a tall man as well, and what's your height, Dan?
6 foot.
Yeah, I think anything around 5'11", 6 foot. I'm 6'4", so my body's predisposed. Being long and thin with long levers, we're built for sports. Yes, we're still built for strength training, but because we've got long levers, and therefore by anatomy and physiology, big hands and feet, we're built for leverage. Basketball, swimming, sports where you need to move and reach and cover distance. So. And things like those hip thrusts, they've got their place in the industry. What's interesting is that I very rarely see people do them. When I see them do them in public health clubs or gyms, it's always a bilateral, it's always both legs. I say load it, deload it by more than 50%, 60, 65%, and do unilateral. And find out which side is stronger than the other, which side's got a better range of movement. But otherwise then, okay, so you've had injuries, but you've got back strong and fit. All right, and when you're trained like that, okay, we're talking strength training,
Yes.
And you've done some cardio.
Yes.
And what was your cardio? Treadmill running?
No, so again, at the gym that I've been going to, before then, it would have been going for a run or sit on a bike or something for half an hour, but I kind of learned a bit more about doing sort of high intensity workouts where you've got like a minute of doing something on a machine or something like that, and then come off, do something else, and then kind of make a bit more of an interesting activity out of
It's
it.
a good way to train.
Because
It's time saving as well.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm not really a sports person. I don't go out playing any other sport or anything
Okay.
like that. I'm more, I'll train, I'll do that sort of thing.
Yeah. Can you swim?
Probably not well.
But you could swim a length of a pole so you didn't drown, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not your trainer, but I'll make a suggestion.
Yeah.
When I studied, we looked at cardiovascular testing
Right.
for VO max testing, spin bikes, rowers, treadmills. One of the best things for clients that are non-weight bearing is a 12-minute swim test in water.
Right. Okay.
Have you heard about that?
No, I haven't.
It's got a proper test called the Cooper test.
Okay.
Cooper as in the surname of the guy that patented it, or at least came up with the idea. It's to test not your swimming stroke, because that's down to yourself and a swimming professional.
Yeah.
It's to test your VO2 max, borderline non-weight bearing in water.
Okay.
So we had to do it as part of our studies.
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised how many physically strong, relatively fit, healthy people would fall quite low down on the chart.
Yeah.
So essentially, the clock starts at 12 minutes, it's front crawl,
Yeah.
okay, which is a very exhausting stroke as well. And you have to swim as many lengths of your chosen pool. Now, most pools are 25 metre.
Yeah.
Olympic pools, like in Sheffield, the Ponds Forge,
Yeah.
50 metre.
Right.
So you measure the length of the pool.
Yeah.
So, and then you say man or woman, age bracket, and you pick that category, and it tells you very poor, fair, average,
Wow.
fairly good, medium, club swimmer, elite.
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised when you first do it. You think, well, you're 6 foot, you go to the gym, you're a healthy bloke, eat nutrition.
Yeah.
I'm going to get up there somewhere.
Probably not.
And you don't. And the reason being, you go close to your VO2 max. You're not going to tachycardia or anything,
Yeah.
but and then of course, if you can't do the tumble turns at the end of the pool,
Yeah.
you have to stop, turn around, and push off again.
Yeah.
And it's
Takes
not a
time.
dive in either, because we could dive in. I could cover 3 or 4 meters just diving in, if
Yeah.
not more. When I started doing it back in my late 30s, I used to do one length in one breath.
Yeah.
But what I'd find is I go to my maximal heart rate after 2 lengths.
Yeah.
So then it was 2 breaths, and then I whittled it down. I think I've got it right down to about 6 breaths
Yeah.
per length. That way I could keep going,
Yeah.
but the clock keeps ticking. So next time you're at leisure centre, it's got a
Right.
pool in it, try the 12-minute Cooper test,
Okay.
and it will give you a
Okay.
really good idea of your cardiovascular ability, your VO2 max, that ability to take in and transport oxygen.
Yeah.
Because what happens is you get a diminishing return
Yeah.
towards the end, where your heart rate is at 85%, but it's taken you longer to do each length, but the clock keeps ticking,
Yeah.
even if you have to stop. So there's something for you.
Give that a try.
Yeah. Mention it to your PT
Yeah.
when you train,
Yeah.
and get him to do everyone. Yeah, because I would.
Yeah.
If I had access to a pool,
Yeah.
if I had a swimming pool in my own practice, all clients would do it as
Yeah.
part of their initiation. Right, so your nutrition for yourself then.
Yes.
Okay, give me an idea about what you've done for yourself at the age of what, 35?
Yes.
35 years of age, you're still in your peak?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
What does it look like for you?
For myself, I consider myself quite a lucky person in that I can eat relatively similar things from day to day.
Yeah.
So I do tend to have a very similar breakfast and lunch,
Yeah.
and usually consists of, at the minute, yogurt and fruit and some nuts, things like that, and for breakfast. Sometimes throw, I don't know, some bits of chocolate or something in there to make it a bit interesting.
In the
for
morning?
myself. Yeah.
A bit of chocolate, like dark chocolate or something?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
Just it's not every day. It's
Just to give it a bit of taste once in a while.
Yeah, exactly. Or I mean, a lot of the time I'll probably have honey or something like that, 'cause I'm not great with the taste of yogurt.
Right. Plain yogurt or like a Greek yogurt, did you say?
Greek yogurt, yeah.
Do you go for 10%, 5% or 0? Although you would know what's gone into it then.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, what it says on the back of the pack, it's just...
If it says 0 fat, because I buy Greek yogurts, a well-known brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one that everyone seems to buy now.
Yeah.
You know, and it says 0 fat, and I think I can't believe it's 0% of fat in it.
Because with claims and things like that, it has to be absolute. If it goes above, then they're in the wrong there. They should be doing
Because that couldn't be 20% above, because then it'd be 20%.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I've got to take that as nearly red then. All 99% unequivocal, it's going to be 0 fat.
It should be, yeah.
Any less than, yeah. Any less than that, I'm not eating it.
Yeah, so it's anything that you see with a claim on high protein, low fat, and things like that has a lot more. It's not that 20% that we were talking about earlier. It is a lot more scrutinised.
Gotcha.
And it is tested more regularly, things like that. So you should be more comfortable with those things, that they are being watched more by whoever's making it, and even where you're buying it from.
Right.
If it's their own brand.
Yeah.
So,
sorry, Dan, I'm digressing there.
No, that's good.
Okay, what is it evening like? What does an evening meal look like for you? Because you're training regularly now.
yeah, my evening meals are more varied because, like I said, I'll eat similar things for my breakfast and my lunch.
Yeah.
And because
The time constraints you should do. Yeah.
yeah, and because those are things that I can have control over as well. I can be a bit more lenient in what I have in the evening.
Yeah.
It'll still be full of vegetables. So, I mean, more recently I've been having like salads and things like that with chicken and some sort of potatoes or rice or something like that.
So,
if I'm
yeah.
wanting to be,
It's a safe
Spot
carbohydrate.
on. Yeah,
You know, sweet potato, brown rice.
yeah.
I mean, I mix it up. I'll put basmati rice in sometimes, long grain rice, jasmine rice. Just otherwise, I'm spending 30, 40 years eating brown rice.
Yeah.
Even white sticky rice is a nice change. you
Yeah,
know.
I mean, it's still like I said, it's still a carbohydrate. The brown rice just has a bit more fibre, a bit more micronutrients.
Yeah.
If you prefer brown rice, prefer white rice, then
White rice, I
have
think
it.
it's got the taste.
Not everyone likes it, so you know, stick with white if that's what you want.
Yeah, gotcha.
But it's not always like that though. Yeah. You know, I'll still have pasta, lasagna.
Okay.
I'd still have some of the things that people might turn their nose down to. I'll have pizza.
Yeah. I had one a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Tasted alright.
Yeah, exactly.
I might not have one again until December, January now,
Yeah.
pizza wise, but I get it. It's just a bread with some vegetables on it, you know. So
yeah, depends on how you get it, how you make it, and
when you talk about because you work, yeah, you travel. You told me you're traveling to Europe this year.
yeah.
Where are you going, man?
Well, it's all sort of in plans at the minute, but
Okay.
taking a drive down to Switzerland, and then going to Italy and going through France.
Yeah.
So a bit of a
So-
mixture.
So if you're driving around Europe, you know, Switzerland, Italy, France, I imagine you have a great time.
Yeah.
But you're not going to spend, 2 weeks eating burgers and drinking Coca-Cola, are you? Surely you still have to eat. Well, maybe as a treat. Or-
Yeah, I mean, it's not something I've done before, this sort of travelling.
Gotcha.
And not even been on that many holidays.
Are you
recently,
hiking?
So
trekking?
No, it's all going to be pretty much driving and just sightseeing.
Yeah.
To be honest. So
And then what you stay? You stay in hotels or B&Bs? What?
hotels, some of it, BBs for some of it.
So you
just
get
trying to
pretty
get
decent
it.
food, or at least you could have like a meat and veg meal at night. I've found that when as certainly as I've got older as well, into my late 30s until early 50s now, my nutrition while I'm away, when I'm travelling, is absolutely important. Like sleep as well. You could sleep your 6.5, 7 hours a night solid, but if you're consistently day after day eating takeaways and highly processed food, your body breaks down so quick while you're away.
Yeah.
Because you spend all the time travelling. You're in hotels, airplanes, different trains, planes, trains, and automobiles. So even probably better time. Yeah, a beer at night or whatever, or pizza or something, but it's hard to sustain that for a week or two.
Yeah.
That's why when we come back, we want to eat normal home food.
I think even like for myself, I think because I have such a healthy diet now, just knowing what I know, when it does come to even just a day for me of bad food, you do feel it the next day.
You do, yeah.
And
Lethargy.
I guess it's difficult to explain to some people sometimes that are trying to get into eating more healthier. They might not sort of have that sort of feeling because they're not used to having it, the healthy foods quite so much. But you feel so much more tired. You actually get more hungry because of having had the bad food the day before, and you think, well, how do I feel? I've planned all my food out for the day. Why am I still hungry? So you end up going for easy snacks and something that's a bit more calorie dense or sort of processed. Because
the hormonal changes as well. And you think about it with the imbalance of leptin and ghrelin in the body, and we know that after a poor night's sleep, everyone wants to eat a bag of crisps and a chocolate bar. I'm the same. If I have a really bad night's sleep, 2 nights back to back, not often, but if I did, I'll eat my healthy food, but I'll also eat what I would consider to be junk food, ice cream maybe, or something like that. Okay, so, and what is the reason then that you're doing fitness strength training now and eating for the most part, a healthy diet? Why do you do that at 35?
For me, I've just been continuing as I've been doing since I was younger. It was body image to start with, but now it's just become my sort of everyday life. I know that for me to live longer and to stay healthy and avoid certain diseases that come from sort of poor lifestyle, if I continue this sort of path, then you know, I'm less likely to get those things.
Yeah, it's good. That's interesting. And it's interesting again. You went back to body image, and now what's important is quality of life and longevity. It's interesting you say that, because me as an individual first, as Tristan first, and as a trainer, a professional trainer second, I eat healthy most of the time. And even at my age though, full transparency, there's still a bit of body image that's important for me.
Yeah.
You know, I can tell you, if you've always had a good physique. Now, what is a good physique? We'll say someone that is relatively low body fat. I don't mean like a bodybuilder, but relatively low body fat, a V taper, wider shoulder than hips. That gives an individual a sign of relatively good health.
Yeah.
You could break your leg tomorrow, but up until that point, I still think though that even at 54, 19 years on you at 35, if my maths are right, body image is still important. Yeah. I've got clients in their 60s who still think they want to look good for themselves and their other halves, or even walking past complete strangers, because it's certainly not the opposite. We don't want to look awful, do we? That's why in the morning we put our favourite shirt on when we go. We brush our hair, we scrub our teeth. It's not just to be healthy, because with the advent of biohacking as well, and it's massive, isn't it, on terrestrial on streaming channels. I've actually met a professional biohacker, we'll call her that, recently actually. She's quite an interesting lady. I think with the amount of programs on TV, the information we've got, there is a shift to just train to be fit and healthy. And I absolutely rubber stamp that, but we want to look good as well. Yeah,
I mean, I suppose you can't get away from like what you said. People still think it, people still want a certain way to look, or they do care about that. So it might be best to keep that sort of message out there that this will help in that instance. But I think it is good to move away from body image being the main reason. Yeah, of course, yes, agree. You end up with all sorts of issues with eating disorders and things like that because of it. Yeah, of course. Going down the health route is nicer for people to perhaps, I don't know, it just seems like it's a better way to kind of get that message across. Yeah, health first. You are going to be healthy. The byproduct of being healthy is going to be you will look different. Yeah, at the very least different from what John or Jill is at that moment when they first come. But we have still got that problem, which is why people are going for these jabs as well. Yes, so, that's another subject. Yeah, I actually went to an open lecture about 2 months ago in London at the Excel, and they talked about apparently there's 34, 35 jabs, weight loss jabs, waiting to become off the product line that have got patented. They're waiting to go, and the GOP range is in the big one to come after the Ozempic brand and whatnot. So I get it. I think there's a place in our industry for those if it starts the ball rolling for an individual to start to get them mobile, because they've lost 14, 28, 42, 56 pounds, whatever it is, and they become more mobile. Just to wrap it up, Dan. Okay, so where do you see yourself at 40, 41, 5 years from now in your profession? Well, I'm in the process of. I think we spoke about the Association for Nutrition. I'm currently an associate nutritionist. I'm hopefully registering this year to become a registered nutritionist. Great. And with that will come sort of hopefully a few more opportunities for me. Yeah. And is that to do consulting work or to go and work for a particular firm? It'll be so I could do consulting work. Yeah. I mean, I can do that now. Yeah. It's just I'll have more credibility with people I'm helping. Yeah. What are you going to charge for a consultation? I haven't decided on that yet. As much as you can. Yeah, as much as I can. I'll be clear with it. Charge as much as you can. Yeah, because you've put all that hard work in and the time in. You know, if you can charge someone X amount for a consultation and still have the due diligence to do no harm and provide a good service with empathy, sympathy, but before anything else, professional ethics, charge that. Yeah. Because let's look at Premier League footballers. What are they charging per minute? Yeah, true. For mugs like me to watch them. Okay, final thing then. This is because I'd like to bring you back on the show, Dan, when you get that accreditation and you can move up. We can talk about it and give the links away. Yeah. All right. Okay. So nothing to do with nutrition. Okay. Nothing to do with fitness. 3 questions I'm going to ask you. Okay. What's your all-time favourite movie? Oh, that's a tough one. I've always I've always gone back to watching Kill Bill.
Kill Bill,
Talking
Quentin
about this
Tarantino.
yeah, I was talking about this last night as well. So
Alright.
it's
I'm a big Tarantino fan. Which is better, part 1 or part 2?
I like part 1 better.
I do. I like part 1 better. I like part 2.
Yeah.
But part 1 I think was more dynamic. I've got the music on vinyl to both of them.
Okay.
Yeah, Ennio Morricone, Lalo Schifrin, Tarantino himself.
Yeah.
Kill Bill, yeah. Fun fact, Tarantino is making his 10th movie next year, and they've not titled it yet, but Uma Thurman is going to be in the movie.
Oh, really?
And Brad Pitt and Samuel L. Jackson. So hold that thought. I don't think it's going to be Kill Bill 3.
No, we talked about that for years.
Yeah. I'd like to see it though.
Yeah.
Opening night, I'm there.
Yeah.
Okay, favourite, what's your musician or artist?
This is tough.
Yeah.
It's a very controversial thing, but I'm not too into music.
Okay, it's not controversial.
But I'm someone that will listen to all sorts of things. So
Gotcha.
I can't really pick one person and go, I like all their songs.
So you're going Spotify and listen to whoever's playing, you
Yeah.
like it, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, okay. All right, dream destination. You wake up tomorrow morning, you've got 2 weeks, all expenses paid to travel somewhere. Yeah, where do you go?
Japan.
Yeah,
Always
I went
been
last
Japan.
year.
Did you?
I went last year. Have you been before?
No, I've not.
It's
Not
incredible. I've said to people that I know it exceeded my expectations, and I've been reading about Japan for years.
Yeah.
I was fascinated with their culture, and I went to Tokyo and Kyoto, and since then about 2 or 3 of my clients have been.
Yeah.
All had different experiences, but there's 1 or 2 things that have always remained constant. It's an incredible country that whenever anyone goes, they always tell everyone else to go there.
Yeah.
Where some people go to a country and they say, don't step foot back in
Yeah.
it. And I can think of a couple of countries where I've heard that from more than one person.
Okay.
But Japan, and interestingly, it's not as expensive as people think.
Yeah.
It can be.
Yeah.
You stay in a 5-star hotel.
Yeah.
I didn't. I stayed in a place that cost $22 a night.
Oh, nice.
And what do you get for $22? A plywood box to sleep in a cubicle. Yeah.
It's an experience.
But I tell you, I said in Tokyo and Kyoto, it'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, so favourite all-time movie, Kill Bill. Interesting. Western and Eastern culture overlapped. You know, only the way that only Quentin Tarantino could do it.
Yeah.
You want to go? If you could pick it, you go to Japan.
Yeah.
Let's get back then. Okay, so music-wise, I'm going to send you some Japanese music I listen to on Spotify.
Okay.
Okay, so there's a little overlap there.
Yeah.
All right then. Final one. I'll add a 4th one. If you weren't going to be a nutritionist of some description or work in the health sector as a professional with nutrition, what would you be?
Oh, that's tough.
Okay.
I think because I'd already gone down the route of forensics,
Yeah.
that was what I wanted to go into.
Right.
It probably would have been that.
Yeah.
But like I said, no opportunity at the time.
Right. So you'd be like Grisham and CSI. Yeah.
That's how I ended up.
Yeah.
Enjoying
Is that right? From
Yeah.
Yeah. It looked glamorous though on TV.
It
Doesn't
does,
it? Everyone's
it does.
well dressed and flying in out of jets and whatnot.
Exactly.
I think it's anything but that, isn't it?
Yeah,
You know,
I think
so.
it is.
All right, we'll come to the end of a short conversation. Dan, we'll come back in for Kill Bill Part 2.
Okay.
All right. And all right, my name's Tristan Lowe. The channel's Health No Filter. You can find me on YouTube, Spotify, or Amazon Music. And today's guest, Dan Jones. Dan, thanks for coming in, sir.
No problem. Thank you
Pleasure.
very much
Good
for
luck
having
with
me.
your future plans and whatnot. And I think you'll do well in whatever you do, sir.
Amazing.
Thanks
you.
for coming in.
Thank you very much.
Till the next one. Bye for now.
Thank you.